Wow, they actually did it. They ported Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2 to the PS5. We need to talk about this. This is a lot bigger than people realize. Obviously, I'm having a blast. I think that this was a very awesome thing that they did. I'm having a ton of fun playing these games again, and I'm realizing that it's honestly not nostalgia. These games are just superior to whatever Call of Duty has done in the last 6 to 7 years. Okay? That's a straight up fact. I don't care what anyone has to say. I want to talk about how this was a calculated move from Activision. Okay, this was so calculated. They didn't do this for no reason. So let's talk about the most recent release, Black Ops 7. Black Ops 7 flopped on its face. It is bleeding money like nobody's business. And before anybody goes in the comments, Black Ops 7 is losing money. There's a big misconception among Call of Duty players when they see big monetary amounts being thrown around. Guys, that's not profit, all right? There's a lot of money tied to Black Ops 7. It was a very expensive game, but it's not making its money back. It's very fundamental principles here. And Call of Duty has been with its back to the wall because they have been declining for such a long time. Even with, BO6, one of the more recent installments, that was profitable. BO7 is the biggest alarm bell here. And they've been holding this move to re-release Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2 on the PS5 in their back pocket for so long. They were just waiting for the juice to run out, and now is the time. So what does this mean for us players? Let's get into it. It kind of feels crazy to say, but I am relatively optimistic about Call of Duty's future, okay? Because these guys speak one thing, and that's money. That's the only thing they speak. Black Ops 1 and 2 have been popping off on the PS5. It's so clear. BO7 didn't really sell. Black Ops 1 and 2 is selling like hotcakes. The math is on the wall, and I think they were testing the waters with this one. I think that after this most recent Call of Duty 4, whatever's going on there, the new Modern Warfare, I don't really care about it. I think that they had that planned and they're just going to get that out the door. I think after that game, one could hope that they might be considering returning to the fundamentals of Call of Duty. One could hope that they could potentially be returning to a time where there was no platformization of the franchise. There was individual games being sold. There was no battle pass. There was no crazy cosmetics. All of this crap. There was no Warzone. They actually might be considering going back to a good campaign, a good extra mode, something like zombies, and then a good multiplayer, and just cranking those bad boys out year over year. I'm down for that. I think that is so much more sustainable. Because with the release of Black Ops 1 and 2 on the PS5, one thing is very clear. They can't continue with the new Call of Duty format. They just straight up can't. The first reason is it's way too expensive. They could force this as much as they want, but eventually the juice is going to run out completely and they're going to get shut down, or something's going to happen. The IP is going to be bought. They're going to spiral out of control, basically, is what I'm saying. If they keep putting Call of Duties in this weird format that they've been doing for 7 years that everyone hates, it's not sustainable. Call of Duty 4, in my opinion, is not going to sell well. I don't see how it could. I think people are exhausted of the way they have flipped this franchise on its head, and people are craving the old games. I think, Modern Warfare 4 is going to be the confirmation. BO7 was the wake-up call. Modern Warfare 4, whatever this new title coming up is going to be, the realization that they can't do this. So I think they know that. I think that's why they released Black Ops 1 and 2, some of the most beloved games in the entire franchise, back onto the PS5. There's no other reason why they would do this other than to test the waters. They updated the servers a bit so people can actually play multiplayer and experience these games at their fullest. Dude, they are actually considering it. This is just me with my tinfoil hat. There's no reports confirming this, but there's no other reason why they would do this. There's no other reason. I promise you there's no other reason. I feel like there's this energy in the air in the gaming community, in the gaming industry, and more specifically in the Call of Duty industry, that this is the crossroads for a lot of companies and a lot of franchises. You either, at this point right now, you either make the right decision or you make the wrong decision. The wrong decision, obviously, is Call of Duty still heading down this road. It's like a train driving off a cliff. That's literally what the Call of Duty franchise is doing. Or they could make the right decision and go back to the roots and restore it all and give fans what they want. They could. And, Call of Duty isn't the only franchise that's in this boat right now. Everybody, with the current state of the gaming industry, everybody's at a crossroads where you either make the right decision or the wrong decision. It is outlined there for you. There is very much a right and wrong here. There's no more nuance than that. So yeah, I have an optimistic take. I think that Call of Duty will make the right decision. I really do think they will. But who knows? Who knows? They could absolutely make the wrong one as well here. I want to go ahead and play devil's advocate and bring up a counter argument that I kind of have to my own point. This is very important. If Call of Duty, like hypothetically, let's say they go back to their roots and they give us these types of games that are like Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, like I said, good campaign, good zombies mode that people actually like, good multiplayer, and absolutely no microtransactions or battle passes, and we just buy the game once, we play it, and then we buy the next game the year after. The way low-key Call of Duty should be. Who's to say that the people there that work for Call of Duty, whatever studios, whatever, who's to say that the people there are capable of creating a similar product that has, similar firepower, I guess, in the market to games like Black Ops 1 and 2? Because Black Ops 1 and 2 stand out to me so much because they are so unbelievably unique with their campaigns and, the multiplayer maps and just the vibe that zombies brings. Are the current studios going to be able to replicate that lightning in a bottle? Because here's the reality, guys. Treyarch, for example, is not the same Treyarch that made Black Ops 1 and 2. It just is not, unfortunately. So, maybe Call of Duty might be doomed. And I really want Call of Duty to redeem itself as a franchise, because there was a time where Call of Duty was actually acceptable to be a fan of. Now you kind of get clowned on if you're excited for the new Call of Duty, which, hey, at the end of the day, you can play what you want to play, but I think you're really doing yourself a disservice if you genuinely believe that the new Call of Duties are better than what we had in the past. I think that's a given. Anyways, I'm kind of getting sidetracked, but if the studios can't, create the same vibe and sell games like Black Ops 1 and 2 have sold, I don't think Call of Duty will be around much longer, even if they make the quote-unquote right decision here. If people don't have what it takes to make this new Call of Duty, or, take the company or take the IP in the right direction and make these games special again, I also see a world where the Call of Duty IP gets sold off or just completely dissolves. Because there's something to be said about FPS fatigue. And we've seen this with Battlefield 6. Battlefield 6, I think, is a pretty decent game. It's actually pretty good. But I just kind of stopped playing it because I'm fatigued. I'm fatigued. And the only reason I kind of let it slide with BO1 and BO2 is because these games are familiar. And it's just such a breath of fresh air to get back onto it. This is the gold standard of FPS for me, is these two games. And so I just think we're getting to a point with FPS games where people aren't necessarily giving a crap about them anymore. I think FPS fatigue is very real. And so Call of Duty could be suffering from that as well. I think they absolutely are. I just don't know how they could revitalize this franchise, because to a certain extent, they do need to revitalize stuff. They can't just remaster old games and remake old games. This is nice to see, but they can't just count on that. They need to also be producing new things that people like. And dude, I think you've milked the cow to absolute oblivion. I don't know how you could revitalize Call of Duty. I think the best you could do is return to your roots and try to get some of your hardcore fans. Like, I'm talking people who played BO1 and 2 back in 2013 and 2010 and stuff. Like, if you can capture those people and bring them back and also bring back new players, I think they might be okay. But I'm not confident that they could do so. Overall, I am optimistic about Call of Duty's future if they make the right decision. There's no guarantee that they will, but I just wanted to bring up those points because I think they're very important to talk about here. I also think it's very important to say this as well. They're not doing this out of the kindness of their hearts. They're not re-releasing BO1 and BO2 out of the kindness of their hearts. This is a strategic move. They are, like I said, testing the waters. We know this because, they're still charging pretty much $40 per game, which I think is crazy. They are on sale right now. You can pick up pretty much everything for $60 total, which is decent. But when these go off sale, they are going to be relatively expensive for pretty old games. So I think that's very indicative of what they're trying to do. They're trying to get money. They don't really care about y'all. It's not out of the kindness of their hearts. With that being said, I still made the decision to purchase these because, one, I really enjoy these games, okay? It's nice to play them again. But also, it's like casting a vote. It is literally like casting a vote because we are on the brink of a new Call of Duty release. So there's going to be the people who buy the new Call of Duty, and then there's going to be people who are playing BO1 and BO2. And they're going to be looking at the numbers, and they're going to see which one's selling more, which one has more active players. I want to cast my vote here because if there's anything you could do, all right, if there's anything you could do to save the Call of Duty franchise, this is probably it, all right? It's probably buying BO1 and BO2. And like, look, if you think it's outrageous to pay money for games that are this old and whatever, and you think that they want money, yeah, you're right. You are right. But as somebody who would at least like the slightest amount of fight and the slightest amount of say, I want to try to get them back on track to where they should be going. Who's to say that that's going to happen? Like I said, there's no leaks, there's no reports. This is literally just educated speculation from me. But I don't think it's too crazy to say that if you are playing BO1 and BO2 when the new Call of Duty comes out, you are casting a vote. You are directly telling, whoever's up there that you do not like the direction that they have taken one of your favorite gaming franchises. So who knows? And like I said, there's always the chance that this just goes over their head completely and they just go out of business in the next few years. Great. If that happens, it happens. But, this is absolutely the last stand for the Call of Duty franchise. And this is going to be a very interesting time. This time has come. We've known it's been coming, but it's happening, man. They are at a crossroads. And what we've seen from them recently is very indicative of that. Anyways, that's pretty much going to do it for the video. Once again, a little bit of a rant, kind of, but a very interesting conversation to have that I don't see a lot of people having. So let me know what you guys think of what I had to say in the comment section, and let's talk about what you guys think the direction of Call of Duty is going to be in the next few years. I think it's fascinating. I think it's fascinating if you're interested in this sort of thing. Anyways, I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.